Episode 8, Season 2 of Mayor of Kingstown, titled Santa Jesus, is the longest episode of this season so far, coming in at 46 minutes. Now, this episode is pretty straightforward and pretty simple. You would think something happens in this episode. No, nothing happens. Bunny gets out of prison because somehow Mike got him out. And the reason the episode is titled Santa Jesus is because Bunny calls Mike Santa Jesus. But no one can get in contact with Mike because he's just walking the streets of Kingstown without his car, without a gun, going in and out of bars, basically getting whiskey on the rocks and just walking, and that's it. And the first bar he goes to, he meets a young woman who owns the bar that was previously owned by her grandfather, and he leaves his keys there and he leaves his gun there, and basically in a way he kind of says to the bartender, like, if I come back, don't give me my keys but give me my gun. He leaves, goes to another bar, this and that. His story is just him walking the streets of Kingstown, which is really, really interesting and different. Now we also have Kyle and Marion trying to look for Mike. Marion needs to look for Mike because this young boy Jacob is in the juvenile detention and trying to work his, the magic there, trying to figure out if Mike can get something going with the young boy, get him out and have, something, of course, aligns. And Marion can't get a hold of her son. Kyle, same thing. So what does Kyle do? Something I didn't expect. He goes to see Bunny, and basically him and Bunny talk it out, and they kind of have a good mutual understanding of where things stand, and he's still a cop, and the blacks don't like the cops in Kingstown because we all know why. And Bunny's like, no, I'll figure out what's happening, what's going on and everything, and we'll just, put everything together. Now Ian, of course, we're trying to figure out what this whole Ian story is with Charlie. He's like, yeah, Charlie, what about this dentist thing? Now, we know that Charlie is a serial killer. Well, Ian pays a visit to someone along with Charlie, and they go, and basically kind of in a way like about history or something, and, this evidence that happens. And then this guy calls up, I guess, his attorney and says that I won't be testifying because I had a change of heart and this and that. And then, the guy, Ian and Charlie leave, and then, the guy badmouths Charlie of being a serial killer and a rapist and everything, and Charlie just snaps. And the way I mean Charlie snaps, literally and figuratively, he takes the guy by the neck and just cracks his neck and breaks his neck. And then Ian has to stage it look like a break-in or a robbery. They do that, and him and Charlie leave. That's happening. And then we go to the bar, and we find out that whole Ian Charlie thing is because one of the friends is being looked at by Internal Affairs. Well, he gets off the hook because the guy that evidently they went to couldn't testify. So it kind of clears up that story a little bit. And Ian is still trying to weigh on his conscience. He takes Charlie to get a slushie, and then he sits him down by the river, and you think Ian pulls out his gun and is going to shoot Charlie, but he has a change of heart. Ian is really, really prominent in this episode. I didn't expect that, and I feel like it was because Hugh Dillon himself, who plays Ian, did write this episode along with Stephen Kay. Also being that Mike runs into a widower, or former, I guess, someone by the name of Jerry, one of the prison guards for the riots. He sleeps with her, but she's on the phone with someone in the morning trying to figure out, hey, he's here. And then Mike begins getting followed by someone in a car. He goes back to the original place where he left his gun, gets it, and he starts shooting. There's a quick car chasing happening, and then we find out that it's the prison guard from Anchor Bay who kind of beat up Bunny a little bit, badmouth Bunny, and put him in solitary confinement, the bald-headed guy. And that's interesting. And not only that, we finally get to see Milo again. Milo and Iris. Iris is not prominent, which is really fun in this because I'm not a fan of her character at all. Simple. I've said that in every single review I've done this season. But it's interesting. Milo kind of has a poetic moment. He's like a philosopher in a way, but he's such a horrible bad guy because nothing happens. But then yet at the end of the episode, after Mike has this confrontation with the prison guard, shoots him, and Mike is just walking the streets, sits down on the bench, and evidently Milo comes out of nowhere And Milo's like, I heard you've been looking for me. I guess we need to talk. What? What? How did Milo know where you are? What's happening? And what? Okay, listen. This season is good in a way where it's more gritty than the first season, but it's dragging on too damn long. And we see that with this episode. When you have one of your main characters just walking the streets of Kingstown without any reason, I mean, do you take a day off? Is that your day off? When everyone's trying to look for you, when you have other matters to attend to? Like, it's great, probably the change of pace without him driving in the car and everything, and then just, being that what it is. The title episode, Santa Jesus, is just mentioned and uttered once by Bunny. I mean, finally, I guess Milo and Mike are going to come face to face and confront each other. How's he going to play a role in it? We don't know. I don't know. This episode, this season is 10 episodes, so there's 2 episodes left until the season finale. And, let's see if there's some resolve to unanswered questions. Like, what's going to happen, with every single one? Is there order in the prison? What's going to happen to Bunny's friend? He started playing the little piano or the keyboard that he got from Bunny because Bunny was leaving. And, Bunny was like, hey, here's something, so you won't be alone. And he actually is playing the keyboard and everything's happening. And it's really interesting to see what's going to happen with that character. With Kyle. Now that, Kyle and Bunny got introduced. Is what's going to happen to Bunny? I feel like I don't think Bunny will, kind of not survive this season. Who's running everything? Is Milo the one doing everything in the prison? What was the whole aspect with this woman that Mike slept with? What is her connection to everything? Because, she was on the phone with someone and what's going to happen? And who's after Mike? What's happening? And Mike can't just go walking around drunk in the middle of Kingstown with every single thing happening around him. It's absolutely crazy. I did like the change of pace a little bit, but it felt like it dragged on so much, and it was like, okay, let's get to something, and then nothing. So I'm really curious to see what happens in the final 2 episodes of season 2. I feel like it's going to be really big and maybe a little bit longer than 45 minutes, because instead of episode 1, which was an hour, I believe, an hour and 5 minutes, every other episode from 2 to 8 has been 35 to 45 minutes. So let's see what episode 9 and 10 are going to be. I feel like 10 is going to be the longest at an hour plus. Maybe. If it's not, I'll be really disappointed, because you need to get a lot of story in, unless they're really saving it for season 3. Who knows? Like, it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen and what can happen now, because finally Milo and Mike McCluskey, are going to come face to face, and how and why and what kind of proposition, ultimatum are they going to give one another, and who's going to back down? So many questions still yet to be answered, and it's going to be interesting to find out what happens. Let me know in the comment section below what you thought about episode 8, season 2 of Mayor of Kingstown, titled Santa Jesus. Did you like it? Did you not like it? What did you think of it? What did you think about the pace of having Mike walk around Kingstown, just going from bar to bar and, being stalked and then figuring things out and then coming face to face with Milo? Do you think there was some context and anything in this story, in this episode? And did the whole Ian Charlie thing finally come, full circle, and did you understand what was happening finally? Because it took a while. It took a few episodes to understand who this Charlie guy was and why everything was happening. And what do you think is going to happen to every single character in this season? And do you think Bunny will survive this season? Let me know in the comment section below about all the questions I just asked. And be sure you click that subscribe button and hit that notification bell for new videos on my channel. I'll see you all in the next review video, and be sure you tune in next week for my episode 9 season 2 review of Mayor of Kingstown.